Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Thrillity podcast. My name is Fred. I'm the co-founder and the program director of this awesome media company, and I'm here today with my co-host slash co-founder slash editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Kopp.
Hello everyone.
Alright, so today on the first episode, season 1, episode 0, we're going to talk about what Thrillity is, how we came about, who we are, and why exactly we're doing this. Alright, does that sound good to you, Jeff?
It sounds
Jeffrey?
great.
Jeff. I've never called you Jeff. This is kind of weird. I just call you Jeffrey. So just to kind of keep it brief, so Thrillity, like I said, we're going to be an online media company that creates news, reviews, and other type of content that's aimed toward any viewer or reader there's something they're thrilled about. So Jeffrey, can you kind of explain like why we went with the name Thrillity?
Yeah, so basically our idea was to focus in on things that people are passionate about, things that people are thrilled about, instead of just being pretty much anything. We want to focus on the things that we care about, the things that thrill us in terms of entertainment, in terms of Charlotte. So that's sort of how Thrillity came about, and we sort of made up that word itself.
Yeah. So personally, when we talked about this, I was kind of inspired by companies like IGN, BuzzFeed, and Collider, kind of like their business model, how they do things, articles, podcasts, video, all that kind of stuff. But of course, what's gonna separate us from them is the fact that they're all either in big metropolitan cities that have a lot of access to these things firsthand, like New York or California. And as for us, what makes us different is that we're in Charlotte, and even though Charlotte's a growing city compared to them, we're still much smaller, and we don't really have access to those news breaks or news what's the better word for it, like a news flash, I guess. Yeah, so that's what's really gonna separate us. And we love Charlotte, so of course we want to kind of make that also a main focus for everything that we're doing moving forward. So Jeffrey, can you go a little bit into what our vision is as a company that we want to be known as? What our vision is.
Yeah, so like I said, the sort of focus is to hone in on things that people are passionate about, that they're thrilled about, and we're going to do that through a variety of different mediums, including podcasting, like what we're doing now, through written media, including articles, through social media, and really trying to connect with the people of Charlotte and people all over the world. And that's sort of our main focus moving forward.
Yeah, that's our vision, is to be, I guess, be informing as honest as we can. Not that these other platforms and hosts and companies aren't honest or have integrity when they report, but it's just that so many things get lost, and I feel like it's not that we're going to be expected to be perfect, but I feel like we can definitely learn from how they deliver their news and how they deliver their content. So there's going to be something to transition kind of into our mission statement. We want to provide a place for kind of just as honest journalism as can be, as we can put it together. And of course, to build a community using all these different platforms such as, social media and websites in different mediums like podcast form, article written form, and even video form. So it'd be really, really cool. And then the type of content that we want to cover are film, TV. That's something that everybody loves. Everybody has a favorite show. Everybody has a favorite movie. Doesn't matter if it's now or back from when they were kids. There's something you can kind of did you kind of love in that sense of cinematography. We're gonna talk about live shows such as
concerts in the Charlotte area. Charlotte has a lot of different venues for live music, and we really want to focus in on that if we can.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of comedy acts going on, like smaller acts as well. And Charlotte has a booming, like you mentioned, they have a booming theatrical kind of district in Uptown, the Blumenthal Performing Arts. They host multiple theaters in Charlotte, and they had something like the Lightning Thief musical, which I saw a couple months ago, and I had fun with that because I'm a big Lightning Thief fan, and I wasn't expecting anything much out of it because it's like Lightning Thief. They made the movie. The movie was not great. I don't know what to expect out of the musical, but I loved it. So hopefully, Charlotte keeps this kind of momentum going of having high quality shows that they bring into town just to kind of keep the so-called culture kind of refreshed every time. We're gonna try to talk about memes because memes are hot. What's the hottest meme right now off the top of your head?
I still love the Area 51 meme.
The Area 51.
I think that's probably going to be my favorite meme of the year, just because of how long it's lasted and how many people it's connected.
Yes.
And just how ridiculous it is.
Yes, it makes no sense whatsoever. It even got Lil Nas X involved in ways, and even he was able to form his own memes. Like, he became a meme again because of this Area 51 meme. So, we're going to cover some of these really awesome memes and even participate in kind of just having fun creating our own memes. So that's something really exciting. The other thing we're excited to talk about are food, because everybody needs food, for one. Two, more and more people are getting access to these different kinds of fusion, kind of crazy new versions of their favorite dishes, and more and more people are getting access to different kinds of food from different cultures they've never had access to. So something in the Charlotte area, we're really lucky to have kind of a super diverse array of food options. So from the top of your head, like, what kind of food?
Well, there's all kinds of like little hidden places that I didn't discover initially when I first moved to Charlotte. So there's a lot of places that we'd sort of like to highlight and just help people discover, because there's a lot out there that you don't even really realize. And sometimes you do have to like leave the area of Charlotte that you live in, but a lot of the times it's worth it.
Yeah, Charlotte, when I first moved to Charlotte was, I couldn't really differentiate Kannapolis from Concord to main Charlotte to Pineville to Ballantyne. To me, they're all just Charlotte. But of course, as time went on, I realized, like, hey, they're all actually, even though they are part of Charlotte, they're like different parts of Charlotte, and each one kind of has different kinds of food. Like South End, for example, they have a lot of kind of trendy fusion places there, like one of your favorite places, Fuda Buddha, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like a ramen shop,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have soul food there. It's a Korean American fusion bar, and then Let's Meet, kind of an all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue place. A lot of Asian inspired fusion restaurants in Charlotte for sure, and I know there's a lot of taco restaurants in Charlotte.
There is.
For some reason, especially Sabor, which is a local franchise. They have, I think, 11 locations. I don't know if you knew that. 11 locations in Charlotte. So that's going to be really awesome to talk about food. We're going to go out and actually eat this food before we go and talk about and review them. We're not just going to be, basing off of somebody else's. It's going to be from whoever actually ate there. Literature. We're going to talk about, different kinds of literature, from novels, comic books to manga, just to kind of have a little bit of everything for everybody, because I know not everybody likes to read novels. Some people don't even know how to start with comic books. There's so many things in that industry, and a lot of people obviously kind of turned off by manga, but they would like to watch the anime version, which is, I think, is kind of like, it's kind of the same thing, but just like in paper form. But that's something we're gonna cover. Technology. This one's kind of we're gonna give this one a shot. It's a little bit difficult to talk about technology, personally, for me, because I'm not a tech expert. What about you, Jeffrey? Like, what are your thoughts on?
I barely know how to use my phone sometimes. But we're all open to learning.
Yeah. I mean, technology is pretty cool, and there's always new cool stuff coming out. Like, the Apple event. That's why in September they're probably gonna announce some new phones. Probably the same phone, just
Same
bigger and more speed and more data. So I mean, that is basically gonna be the same thing. And then Charlotte related topics, like we've been talking about the Queen City. So we're gonna be talking about Charlotte a lot. So the audience out there, you better know what Charlotte is by the we're never gonna end, so I'm not gonna say by the end, but so we're gonna talk about Charlotte, UNC Charlotte. We're gonna talk about the area. We're gonna talk about places to visit, places, things to do, places to eat at. So, the Charlotte 101 plus more. That's what we're gonna be. A big part of us is Charlotte. We're gonna try to talk about video games. Jeffrey, are you a big video game fan?
I like The Sims. That's
Sims.
it. That's it.
Okay, I've never played The Sims. Surprisingly, yeah, no. Stephanie, our website manager, is kind of giving me a look like, what the hell? But no, sorry, Stephanie, I've never played The Sims.
No Sims.
I've played Sims Kart Racing. I don't know if that counts, but
I've never even heard of that.
It was on the Wii. I never played Sims since then, but I play occasionally every now and again, but not like a hardcore. But recently I've been like trying to try some new games, but so we're gonna try to cover that. It's probably not gonna be me because somebody else is gonna be more of an expert in that area. Maybe Laura, our social media / marketing director, is gonna cover that. We're gonna talk about music. Who's your favorite artist right now, Jeffrey?
I love Khalid. I
Khalid?
just love Khalid, and he's coming to Charlotte in August.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So he's your favorite artist right now?
For sure. What about you?
Well, right now, what have I been listening to? A lot of Jonas Brothers, for sure. I'm a fan of the OG JB. That's all I'm gonna say. Joe Jonas is the best Jonas, in my opinion. But yeah, I love their album, the new one, and then they had a song called Green Light for I think it was for a film recently called Songland, I believe. But I've been loving that song as well, and then they did a Spanish song recently.
Wow.
So yeah, they've been out and about, so that's exciting.
I didn't expect a Jonas Brothers resurgence, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah. And then we're gonna talk about animation. We're gonna try to separate that from the film and TV section as a whole, because I feel like that's such a big industry all on its own. Because not only are you dealing with traditional like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney shows, we're also gonna be talking about like Japanese and kind of Eastern shows. So that would be something really, really cool to talk about. Merchandise, we're gonna try to throw that in there. I know this is kind of a lot, but merchandise, we're gonna try to talk about, I don't know, figurines maybe, because I'm a big fan of Funko Pops. I know that sounds kind of cringy to a lot of people, but personally I love the figurines and I just clap my hands. I should not do that while recording, but yeah, so we're gonna talk about maybe shoes. I think Stephanie likes I think she mentioned one time some bags or something that she likes. I don't recall, but I know she mentioned something. But every one of us likes some kind of pop culture merchandise in some form or fashion. So they're fashion. But so we're gonna talk about merchandise. And yeah, so different mediums we're gonna put them in, like photos, videos, articles, of course. We're gonna have audio like this one, social media, and of course will be available in mobile and desktop, like when we have our website up and running. So it's really exciting. And then platforms, we have a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook already up and running. We have a Yelp account. I don't think you can follow people on Yelp, but if you're interested in just like reading what food reviews we've done or restaurants we visited, we'll have the link somewhere on our platforms. We don't have a Reddit account yet, but we're hoping to kind of get that up and running, just to kind of have a community kind of Q&A, maybe, kind of different from Facebook. And then eventually we'll have our Twitch and YouTube running, but we're probably gonna have the YouTube running first, just to kind of so you guys can see our faces, what we look like. It's probably not gonna be on there. Somebody else is gonna take over as host. Same thing with Jeffrey. We're probably not gonna be on the show as much. We're planning is to have our two hosts, Luigi and Enzo, they're brothers. They're in training to be our regular hosts, but right now they're not available. So that's why me and Jeff are doing this. Also, it just makes sense for us to kind of introduce everything all together. And then of course we'll have an email list set up so that you can get whatever update we'll have in the future about maybe meetups or just maybe we'll do a giveaway in the future. We're definitely gonna do a giveaway in the future.
Possibly like a newsletter.
Yeah, so we'll do something in that sort. And then for future, we just kind of hope to, make this kind of full time. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm having fun with it so far. I'm not really like bothered by it.
The focus overall is just fun and things that people are passionate about.
Yeah, literally, it's in the name. Just like thrilled. We're thrilled about this, and we're hoping to talk about things that people are gonna be happy to listen to, or at least participate in talking about. Just to talk. We don't have to like criticize. I mean, we're gonna review, but I mean like we're gonna talk about why we like certain things or why we don't like certain things. We're not just gonna be like, I don't like it because Woody Allen is poor or whatever. That's not even gonna be. That's not a valid criticism for not liking somebody. Calling them whatever words. But I just thought I'd make that reference. The team back here kind of gets the reference. You guys probably won't get the reference, but so yeah, that's kind of what we have. Before we wrap this up, so you guys already know what to expect. I'm just gonna do a one-on-one with Jeffrey real quick, just to kind of introduce you guys who we are and kind of why we're doing this and how it came to be. I guess a little backstory of Thrillity. So Jeffrey, can you give us a little
how we met?
Well, just start off with like your story first. Like, are you in college? What are you studying?
I'm heading into my final semester of college at UNC Charlotte as a communication and political science major. I'll be graduating in December. And I currently work for the Niner Times, which is the UNC Charlotte newspaper, as the community editor. So I'm responsible for social media, and that's sort of how I'm got involved with Thrillity, to sort of get something similar going.
Okay. So that's So what happened was, I also was a student at UNC Charlotte, studied marketing, and I met Jeffrey at Niner Media, in Niner Times, the newspaper section of Niner Media. And I was the marketing director, and he was the editor at the time. And we kind of, got along that way. We went on crazy retreats at the weird cabin in the woods, and fun times. But so we met that way. And when I graduated, I realized that, not that I hate my job or anything. I just thought it'd be really cool to be kind of in the same space that I was in during college, like the digital media space. I thought was really cool. I know there's a lot of competition, but I'm more worried about just finding something to enjoy from after work or like even during work. So I thought that it'd be really cool to kind of start something on the side, and who better to reach out to than Jeffrey, who has some journalism experience. And so we got together and just talked about, the possibility of like, hey, how does this sound to you? Honestly, I was a little worried pitching it to him, because I was like, I don't know, he might like it for like a week and then I'll never hear back from him. But, at least I threw him the idea, and maybe I can reach out to somebody else. But luckily he decided to jump on board, and we kind of planned it out. And then we reached out to everybody else, some of our friends who we thought would fit in perfectly within the group. And so far we've been kind of lucky that everyone we have on the team is just excited about everything that we're doing, excited for the future, and have some really cool creative ideas as to how we can push forward. So I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm just gonna give a little shout out to the team here. So I mentioned Laura earlier. She's gonna be our social media / marketing director. So she also went to UNC Charlotte. I was in marketing courses with her. That's how I met her. Zach is our tech manager. He's in charge of our equipment. And I went to actually high school with Zach. We go way back. And so he transferred to UNC Charlotte. He's studying electrical engineering, so he should be graduating fairly soon. Then we have Stephanie. She's gonna be our website manager. She's also got some journalism experience like Jeffrey. She's mostly into long form writing, so you might not see her on social media, but when we have the website up and running, you're definitely gonna run into her. So, and then we have Pooja. She's our I guess our lead photographer. So she worked with Jeffrey as well for the Niner Times. She has some really cool experience with the camera. She's been featured on the news multiple times probably at this point because of her photography. And then we have, like I mentioned earlier, the two brothers who are gonna be hosting the show. Maybe the next episode, I don't know yet, depending on whenever they're free, but they'll be hosting their Enzo and Luigi. They're not Italian. They sound Italian, but their father owns an Italian restaurant, but they're actually Ecuadorian. So they're very excited to host. They love pop culture as well. Everybody here loves pop culture. We're all vocal about at least one thing, if not more. So we're really excited to keep moving forward. And yeah, so that's it for our first episode 0, season 1. So where can people find you, Jeffrey?
You can find me on Twitter at JeffreyCop97.
All right, Jeffrey. And you guys can follow me on whatever platform at Fredicini147. I'm not kidding. That's literally how you pronounce my social media name. But thank you guys for listening. We hope to kind of get your attention. So, at least in one episode, that would be kind of cool if you at least listen to this whole thing. If you listen to the whole thing, please comment whole thing on any of our platforms, and then we'll give you a shout out. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day.